Welcome back, guys, to the final episode, and we are just one game away from finding out the question that everybody's been asking. Is Mark from Makjax Gaming better Chelsea manager than Graham Potter? Let's get straight into it. Yes, before we round up the season and what happened, let's get straight into the FA Cup game. And as you'll probably be able to know by now, the fact that we've gone straight into the FA Cup game suggests that the Premier League didn't go our way. And with Manchester City winning the next game, it pretty much ruled us out whether we were able to win the last game of the season. Anyway, but let's take the positives. The last game of the season was against Crystal Palace, who are our opponents today, and we did absolutely batter them 6-2. So let's hope we can take the positives of that into this game, and hopefully we can replicate that form from that last game. But as you can see there, we tried, but City winning their games, there was nothing we could do at this point. But we'll delve more into how the season went in just a moment. Unfortunately, which I think is absolutely silly, Christian Pulisic can't play. Yes, he's tired, but it's because he's on international duty. It's the FA Cup final, and he's away on international duty. I mean, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with that information. You'd feel like he would have been sticking around, for the cup final. But it is what it is. It is a shame, but this is what we go with today. Chilwell on the left, Thiago Silva for Fine in the middle, James on the right. This will be Thiago Silva's last game for ourselves, as if I remember rightly, he is moving. If I remember rightly, yep, he is moving back to Brazil at the end of the season. So this will be his last game. Hopefully, a very successful one. Obviously the noticeable one is Jorginho in there, who left in January in the Chelsea save, and we've got Kovacic and Milinkovic-Savic, Sterling on the left, Gonzalez on my signings, and the star boy with over 30 goals in all competitions this season, Kai Havertz. Well, let's not wait any longer, guys. Let's get straight into the game, and hopefully the opening highlight can produce something. But I'm not going to get my hopes up. Like I said, is it? Oof, nope, see? We've already missed a chance. But at least it was a chance nonetheless. But as you can see, there is a couple of players here who weren't necessarily here, a bit like Jorginho, who did also leave. But Thiago Silva, who left at the end of the season, who I do believe in real life has he signed a new Chelsea deal? Can Raheem Sterling finally score a good goal? Nope. We're already on the countdown of how many chances does Raheem Sterling miss. But we've still got an ongoing highlight, and Milinkovic-Savic passes it to their goalkeeper, which is very kind of him. Fantastic start, Yeah, I have pushed the team up a little bit right now, just to see if we're able to put the pressure on us. I imagine they're going to want to sit back a little bit. But nonetheless, still the same tactics. We've just pushed up a little bit, being the team that you'd expect to be in control of the game. I'll be honest, like I said, I think I've already said. Do you know what? Scratch what I was just about to say. I was literally just about to say, if there's one thing I can probably say in terms of transfers, is Gonzalez was probably not my best. Transfer, but then he just goes and scores. So that is a decent start. At least 1-0 up already, but still lots of the game to go. I think we definitely need at least one more goal to make it secure. Have we got that? Oof, I thought we'd got that pretty much straight away there. But we've had a very, very dominant start to the game, which sort of like follows on from that, is it 6-2? Mendy's going to give me a heart attack, I think. Like I say, he's just been named. We've just been given the best defence in the league, and he's just been given the most clean sheets. And he's choosing now to have slippery hands. Can Sterling finally score? I think he scored. I think he's finally scored. Has Raheem Sterling done it? Yes! That is 2-0 up. I say he's scored 14 goals this season, but he just misses a lot of chances. I think he could have easily been on 20, 25 goals this season with some of the chances he's had. But I think, like many, Sterling gets a bit more stick than he deserves, because I still think he's an absolute fantastic player. But straight on the attack again, which is what we want. We want to put this game to bed, and we have no doubt about who's going to win this FA Cup. Ooh. I thought it was a good angle. I thought that was just going flying that top corner there. There doesn't seem to be many more highlights going into the half time. Well, we're going to get one more at least. Let's have it. Nah. I'll forgive him for that, considering we're 2-0 up. But no, we are at half time, guys. And I think we can tell the lads we've been doing all right. And we are the last 45 minutes of my 1-year contract that I secretly signed, even though it says more than 1 year, as Chelsea manager, is going to come to an end. But what a better way for it to come to an end than win with a nice cup victory. But we've got to get there yet. We can't make any more mistakes. Still plenty of time for them to do something. I mean, again, that was pretty good, but if could have squared that a bit sooner there. But we have had a relatively quiet second half, it seems, so far. Couple of chances, but nothing too exciting. Although we obviously are talking while there is one now. Maybe something comes of it. I mean, we haven't got that. We haven't really got that striker. I mean, I was hoping the lad I brought in from Porto, I was going to be the big striker. A bit of height up there, but he hasn't really lived up to expectation. Or I think it's as much the fact that with Havertz being in the form he has, I think it would be rather silly to not play him. This is a long highlight still going on in the second half here. We play some good football. Ooh, fantastic shot by Kai Havertz there. I think it's time to take Gonzalez off. He's played well, but it's time to take him off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch things around a little bit. And we're going to bring the big guy on. We're going to bring Milinkovic-Savic off for Mason Mount as well. But we have got a corner now. And I think it might be time. Not necessarily, we won't take... I'm not going to take the foot off the gas as such. I'm still going to have positive. We're still going to go for it. But I think we'll take the expressive away, so we're not making silly, maybe silly runs, leaving ourselves open. Ooh, he has absolutely just proved me wrong in the biggest game we need to, and I am absolutely down for that. If he wants to prove me wrong and Raheem Sterling wants to shut me up by scoring 2 goals in the FA Cup final, well, go for it. Prove me wrong all you like. I mean, if you'd have done it a little bit earlier on in the season as well, who knows how the league might have gone, but we'll take the FA Cup. So I pose this question to the Chelsea fans. Would an FA Cup victory and a second place finish in the league last season, again, don't completely forget that you finished 12th last season, so that season doesn't exist. Would you have taken, do you consider an FA Cup win and a second place a successful season for a Chelsea expectation team? I think it would, but then I almost feel like up until recently, it's kind of the standard as a Chelsea fan to be in these situations. But this is our first win on YouTube, our first trophy lifted on YouTube in our second Football Manager series, the first one being my Portsmouth save, which will have finished not too long ago. But it's our first trophy in the YouTube on my YouTube channel, and hopefully one of many, many more to come on different mini series. But let's just enjoy the moment. FA Cup champions. Fantastic end to the season. Should we get a flip from anyone? Normally there's one. Well, it didn't. There we go, number 8. Used to be the goalkeeper every time, if I remember rightly. There we have it. Just more confirmation. Chelsea win the FA Cup. And what a fantastic way to end the season. I think it's well deserved. And let me see. Can I get into it? Can it show me how we got there? Because I think you got to consider like Crystal Palace beat Liverpool. And yeah, beat Watford. But we've beat Brentford. Crystal Palace beat Fulham. And what? Swansea. So I guess if you wanted to be thingy, you could say we've had a relatively favourable run to the final, but you just got to win the games in front of you. Absolutely fantastic end to the season there. Didn't go take any of the top stats there, but we got the big one at the end. Now the season has finished. No more games to go. All schedule done. Now let's finish off the episode by now having a nice breakdown of how our season went, the key things of the season, and compare them to what Graham Potter did in his. And what better place to start than in the league and to get a comparison of how the season went and the little stats ins and outs. So looking at what happened in the Graham Potter world, obviously Chelsea finished 12th of 38 games, 44 points. And we reached 85 points, almost double the amount of points that he reached. And then also we look at the other stats. Just take him to the top there. They had 11 wins, 11 draws, and 16 defeats. While ourselves, we had 26 wins, 7 draws, and only 5 defeats. And I think they had an issue scoring this season as well. And how many did the score? So goals for 38 goals, which I think is shocking for a Chelsea team, and 47 against. I think we didn't have that issue at all. 66 goals scored, only 25 conceded, with a plus goal difference of 41. Well, then a minus goal difference of -9. So I think in that department, in the actual overall of the season, I think it's by far clear to that question, who did it better? I absolutely did it a lot better than Graham Potter in the league. And just to note, as we do go through the stats of comparing the seasons, obviously there wasn't going to be a plan for a second season, as Graham Potter barely lasted a season, so it would be silly to see how another season would go when he, obviously with nothing to compare it against. But if I was to stick around, we have been given a transfer budget of 119 million. So I definitely reckon I could have definitely brought in that striker I needed, and we could have definitely done some damage this season. 119 million and a nice cushy wage budget as well. And it was also worth looking that obviously I did take his job technically before it even began, but at the end of the season he's yet to take up another role. He is still unemployed. Don't forget, guys, to subscribe to the channel and like the episode, and guys, any support is appreciated. So let's go through the different cups and competitions we were in this season. In terms of myself, we made it to the quarter-final where we unfortunately lost to Arsenal 2-1. Where when Graham Potter did it, I think, if I remember rightly, they got knocked out by Manchester City in the 3rd round. So, again, another win for us on that department. And in the Champions League, Chelsea in the Graham Potter world got knocked out by Real Madrid in the quarterfinals, which, quite frankly, is no shame at all. But we still did that one bit better. We made it to the semi-finals, where we unfortunately ourselves got knocked out by a Spanish team, but this time it was of Barcelona. And the final, I think, is still yet to be played. So, an all-Spanish final there. So, I imagine either way, we'd have suffered by Real Madrid or a Spanish team. Either way. And lastly, the one we've all just witnessed. Witnessing us lifting the FA Cup. Obviously, it's pretty obvious where we got there. We went and won the FA Cup in Graham Potter's world. Again, the Manchester City. They did go and get knocked out by them in the third round. Whereas I think ourselves, that big victory over Manchester City on penalties, I think that was a clinical moment to this FA Cup for ourselves, where we got that victory over them. Whereas in their world, early on, they put us out early on, but not in my world. We got to the final, and deservedly so, we won that FA Cup. And let's get to the individual stats of the players, comparing just the top scorer, top assister, and clean sheets. In Graham Potter's world, Kai Havertz got himself 7 goals. Again, if my stats are correct, I hope I've found the right ones. Whereas under myself, he would have found himself bagging 30 goals in all competitions. He wasn't quite the top scorer in the league, but got himself 30 goals in all competitions. And then our top assister as well was a Mason Mount. Graham Potter's top assister was Raheem Sterling with, I believe, 4 assists. So again, by far, we're getting more out of the players, more goals, more assists. And I think that's pretty obvious with our league position. And in the Graham Potter's world, obviously, we had a change in goalkeepers. Ian Graham Potter and the managers of that season decided they wanted to go with Kepa, where with myself, I stuck with Benjamin Mendy, and Kepa last season got 9 clean sheets, where Mendy got himself 20 clean sheets for myself this season, and he was also helped us achieve the best defence in the league, and he got the most clean sheets in the league, so I think we definitely win that one. So I think so far, guys, in terms of achievement overall of the season, I think it's safe to say there's a clear winner here that I absolutely knocked Graham Potter out of the park in all departments. And in terms of getting the best out of my players, I absolutely got better out of them as well. Turns out Kai Havertz can be a man who can play at top for you and do really, really well. But guys, I think that concludes the series of... I said I was going to think of a catchy name, but I might just stick to this one, is Can I Do It Better Than Graham Potter? Well, I think the answer is an emphatic yes. So Chelsea missed out on all this success by hiring Graham Potter instead of myself. So now we finally answered the question that everybody's been asking. Would Mark from Makjax Gaming do a better job than Graham Potter at Chelsea Football Club? I know everybody's been asking it, so I thought I'd do this short series so we can answer the question, which, as I've just said, the answer is absolutely yes. But guys, thank you for taking the time to watch this series. I am hoping and thinking maybe I could do a few more of these what-if series in different scenarios, nice, short and snappy series. But guys, I do appreciate you watching all the episodes, any of the episodes, and feel free to go back and watch the others as well if you haven't yet. And I'm sure I'll see you guys in the next What If They'd Have Hired Mark from Makjax Gaming Instead series. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.